What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Up to Date. I'm your host, Chelsea Texera, and today we are stoked to have our guest, Sabrina Segat. She's a serial traveler, and she loves to serial date, so tune in because we know you all can relate. And once again, we are so excited to keep you up to date. What's up? Welcome back to Up to Date. I'm your host, Chelsea Texera, and today we are so stoked to have Sabrina Segat on the show. She is a serial traveler and a serial dater. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. Let's take a sip. And today we are drinking none other than the famous Pina Colada. As always, the recipe will be linked on our Instagram, and we're just going to dive right in. So, Sabrina, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and we'll get right into it.
Perfect. So my name is Sabrina. I'm from San Diego, California, born and raised here. I've been traveling for about the last 3 years on and off. My biggest trip was this last one. I got back in March due to COVID, and I was gone for about 7 months. I went to 4 countries. It was amazing, beautiful. Lived in Bali for 4.5 months, went to Thailand and Vietnam for 3.5 weeks each, and then I lived in Australia for 2 months. Yeah.
Okay, so when you took this trip, amazing trip, it's a dream trip for anybody, yes. I'm sure. Did you go by yourself? Who did you go with? And what made you decide, I'm just going to go for 7 months? Like, that's a long time.
Yeah. So I went with my best friend. We were living together, and then we lived in this gorgeous apartment here in PV, Pacific Beach, and we got a notice that we had to move out of our apartment. So I just looked at her and I was like, do you want to move to Bali? And
I'll bet.
Yeah. 7 days later, she thought I was joking at first, obviously, but then 7 days later, we booked our flight out to Bali, and
yes.
we had no clue what we were doing, no clue where we were going, never been there, and we just sent it. So yeah, that's why we took off.
Send it, baby. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So you and a best friend. Amazing. When I went to Bali, I went with just one girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
And that's all you need, really.
No, yeah. You need your roll dog with you. Just like
exactly.
my girl. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Did you guys plan everything before you went?
No. We didn't even have the first hostel booked before we took off on the flight. We booked it at our layover. We had nothing booked. We just had our backpacks.
Where was your layover?
It was in Hong Kong, China.
Ours was in Shanghai, I believe.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yep. So that's awesome. So, okay. So we always start off asking what are your top 3 favorite places. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say, as we've talked about on several other episodes, guys, bitches love Bali. And hello, we're bitches.
Yeah.
We love Bali.
100%. Bali is like top 1 for sure. I mean, I lived there for 4.5 months. My next one I would have to say would be Thailand. And then my third, Portugal. I love Portugal. Loved it. It was so beautiful, so magical. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the things you did in Bali. Because I find that everyone I've talked to about Bali, they did a little bit different things, activities. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's hear about where you guys started, what you did. And you said that you didn't book things. I am such a serial planner. Wow. So yeah, we had everything like down to a science. So it's kind of fun to hear if you just kind of did it on a whim.
Yeah, no, I hate like how do you say that? Like committing myself to anything. I'm not about commitment at all.
When's your birthday?
March 27th. So I'm an Aries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just like very spontaneous. My best friend that I was traveling with is a Leo. So just like 2 fire
Leo
signs.
Rising.
Yes, I'm a Leo rising.
Oh.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, so when we got to Bali, just got to a hostel first night. It was like 11 p.m., went to sleep, woke up the next day, and we're like, where the hell are we? We woke up, went out of our room, and there was just rice fields outside.
What part of Bali?
Canggu. So Canggu is like very up and coming. It's beautiful. It's so much fun. It's the best way to say it is like if Instagram and Pinterest had a baby, Bali is its baby. Like influencers galore, just like gorgeous aesthetic.
Rice, baby, too cold, too cold. And it felt like Canggu, but yes, it's Canggu.
Yes. Canggu, yeah. Kind of funny pronunciation. But yeah, basically we were never still. We tried to rent out a villa for like a month. Didn't work out. We just ended up using it as like an expensive storage unit. We just kept bouncing around. Like, because we'd meet friends and they'll be like, do you guys want to go over here on this part of the island? Or do you guys want to go to this island in Indonesia? And we're like, yeah, why not? Like, So
Yeah.
we could never commit to like one spot. You know, we were just like constantly on the go for the 4.5 months that we were there.
Well, there's so much to see, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite place in Indo was probably Nusa Penida. It was gorgeous. I met this guy and he was like, let's go to Nusa, let's go shoot some pictures. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm so down for this. And the roads out there are super treacherous. Like, I'm terrified of driving a scooter.
Okay, I've talked about this on several episodes. I cried when we went up to Pura Lempignong, and it was raining that day. It was like a festival, and our driver dropped us off in front of these scooter guys, and I started bawling my eyes out because I'm like, no.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm not gonna get on.
Road rash isn't cute.
No, it's not, and that was my biggest fear.
Thank you. Okay, because everyone else is like, oh, what? And I'm like, how are you not?
Yeah, my friend was
cautious of this,
so ballsy. She was like, let me on one. Took her and her like now boyfriend into a rice field one night, and then come back to our villa, and they're like slush, 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 like all water in their shoes, like wet. I thought they were lagging because they were going to go get snacks. I was like, yay, they're gonna come back with food. Like, no, they came back because they were in the rice field.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, no, but that was probably one of the most beautiful places. The views out there, even though it was like treacherous roads, were just like out of this world, like huge cliffs with like teal, gorgeous like oceans, just something out of a dream, like, you know, actual postcard material.
I know, Bali is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Moist and hot, but so beautiful.
Is it weird that I love the humidity?
I do too. Like, I like it. Like, it feels like vacation to me.
Yeah.
Humidity feels like vacation.
Yeah.
Like, even Florida, like anything like that, it just is like, yeah, I'm on vacation, and like you want to sweat.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be cold, I'd go to Canada, which I do want to go to.
Yeah.
But, you know, like if I'm trying to go on a vacay and lay out, like I want to be warm and moist, even though I hate that word, but yes.
No, yeah, same. I'm like, I feel like all like lubed up. I feel so soft. My skin feels so nice.
It's sultry. It's kind of it's like a hazy, happy experience.
Yeah, hazy is probably the like most beautiful word, because like your makeup's a little like hazy. You can't have it crispy, you know, like beautiful eyeliner. No, it's like it's like dewy.
It's like a blush moment. You know? Like you just put on a little bit because you want to, you know, let the boys know the milkshakes are at the yard. But at the same time, you don't want to like, you can't full face it.
No, not at all. And then like I would just rock like a wild mane. Like I never had a flat iron or anything.
You know, my hair's naturally wavy, and so I loved in Thailand and Bali, my hair, like I would shower and just let it do its thing, and it was like a lion's nest.
I just put argan oil to make it feel soft, and then that was my day to day. It was so nice to not have to do my hair. My hair thanked me.
There's a tip. So even if like you have slightly wavy hair, if you go to another country, don't waste room in your bag
not at all.
with curling irons. I brought a little mini straightener. I have a Chi mini straightener. Shout out to them because it's like tiny and you can fit it. But other than that, I wasted no time on doing my hair. Because you don't need it.
Honestly, like the best
nature
makeup
will
to
handle
take
it for you.
is like highlight and setting spray, like just,
highlighter, blush, setting spray.
Yeah, and then you're good to go, and like a good mascara, you know.
Yep. Well, I am a lash queen.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
When I travel, I like to do lashes because then I wake up and I am ready.
Do you get them like actually done, like the extensions?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I used to get them done, but then I quit.
I'm obsessed with them because I even do a lot of hot yoga, and so I feel like if I wake up and I have no eyelashes, I feel worse about myself than when I wake up and I have literally
like I'm a naked mole rat.
Fabulous fans on my face, and then everything else can be whatever.
Yeah.
But so anytime I've gone on a trip, I always like to do my lashes before. Like I do them anyway, but like if I stop for a while, if I went on a trip, I'd like to do them because it's just nice to wake up and feel, it makes you look more awake, I just think, you know?
For sure. I mean, I have little eyes, so like I get it. I just got tired of having to sit there. I'm so impatient. I'm like, just let me do it myself and then I'm done.
You have to find a lash person that you like.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's
my lash girl is a homie for sure. So I like her for sure. But okay, so that is my tip, I'd say, for Bali. Like before you go, get some lashes. Then you don't have to worry about putting on any makeup at all. Maybe a little here and there. Okay, so we like Bali, and then the next you said was
Thailand. Yeah, love Thailand.
Also love Thailand.
Yes.
The nicest people.
Nicest people, like just so happy all the time, and it's like sawadika, kapkunka.
Sawadika.
Yeah.
Kapkunka.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like sawadika is like hello, and then kapkunka is
thank you.
Yeah, those are the only 2 words I know in Thai.
So before I went to Thailand, on my little Google Doc that I like to make, I always put key phrases. I even put like, "Where's the bathroom?" Don't ask me what it is now. now, but
Yeah.
like thank you and things like that. It's
Yeah.
great to just have that, because if people came here to America and were trying to just speak to us in their language, we would look at them,
Like, what are you saying?
What are you saying?
Yeah.
So it's respectful and helpful for both of you guys to be able to say the main things.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. They are the magic words.
Oh, 100%. I used to work at an English college, so I was like a school counselor with like international students. And every single time, if some students didn't know as much, like that much English, they'd be always like, thank you, thank you. Like even like no matter like, thank you, thank you.
Thank you opens up your universe to more blessings.
Because
when you're grateful, you open up your life to more.
1,000%. Abundance.
Abundance.
It's such a major key.
Abundance mindset, especially like those places like Bali and Thailand. It really just opens you up to, because they're not rich countries. Like we come from, the United States, which is
first world country,
and then to travel to other places. I love the quote that says like when you travel, it eradicates bigotry and like anything like that, because you get to see that all of these other people that aren't living in a country like us still make their life beautiful every day, because it is, and they're appreciative of their landscape and just their life, whether or not it's what we think is acceptable.
Exactly. I feel like when I first went abroad, I kind of had, when I went to like a third world country, I felt like I almost had like an ego death, where I was like, nothing really matters that important. Like the clothes on my back aren't that important. The way I look, or the way that I'm like so
the way you look is not important.
It doesn't matter. Like just like
they'll still be like, hey girl.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I'm just so happy. Like these boat guys, working all day in the sun, and their wives like, selling tickets, and it's like, what's their drama? They probably don't have any. It's like, oh, you didn't park the boat right or something. You know what I mean?
Life. Yeah, the simple life. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all it's all about.
It is, and it's like we don't really, I think, recognize that here, but that's why it's so nice I like to go at least every 2 months, honestly, is like max for me. I like to go explore, because other than that, I'm like, I feel trapped in the rat race of every single day is the same. We're trying to, work hard, blah, blah, blah. I want to work hard and play hard. And
100%. I am one for just like living my life like as if I'm retired already. So before this like big trip, I would work for like 3 months and then take off for a month, and work 3 months, take off for a month. So I was on this, and 3 months goes by like that.
And we're not born to pay bills and die. I know that everyone has seen that, and it's so true. It's like, do the things you want to do now, because you don't know if, guess what? Once we find our mans, and once, like things get locked down.
Yeah, like Corona.
Exactly. But like, I don't want to regret or resent my life because I didn't do the things I wanted to do when I could.
I think one of the things that I dislike the most is when I hear someone like, I'll do that when I'm retired. And like, when you don't have as much energy, yes, you can keep yourself healthy, but like when you're young,
when you have
you're like
saggy
thirsty
titties and old wrinkly balls.
Yeah, like I want to look hot with all these hot travelers.
I'm sorry, these are right and tight right now. I'm trying to go.
Can't waste time. No time wasted.
We can't waste time. So Thailand. So where all did you go in Thailand? Because we stayed in Thailand for 2 weeks, me and my girlfriend, and we went to a bunch of different spots.
Yeah.
There's so many cool places.
Oh my God, so many. So the first time I went to Thailand was actually last year with my girlfriend that I took this long trip with. And we did Bangkok, Koh Phi Phi, what is that? Krabi.
We did too. Koh Phi Phi and Krabi. We did them both. Yes.
Koh Phangan. So we did mostly the islands, Koh Lanta, so all the islands, the south. And then my latest trip to Thailand was in February, and then I did the north. So I went to Chiang Mai and Pai.
I love Chiang Mai.
Fell in love.
Chiang Mai was so fun. That's where I rode my first tuk-tuk. We did the elephant excursion. We went and saw the tigers. I know people hate on it, but like, thank God for Tiger King for making it.
I know, that was a
for
whole
making
mess.
tigers great again. Because like I posted a picture that I took with tigers, and of course I am not one for animal cruelty. I love animals. Like I'm not for that, but people would comment stuff, and I'm like, no, trust me, I was terrified. Like if they wanted to eat me, they could have. So like definitely. Fully recognize that. But it was a fun thing to do, and it's not like I would do it all the time or anything like that. But yeah, Chiang Mai was absolutely amazing.
No, I love Chiang Mai. Pai was out of this world.
Pai has really cool temples,
Yeah,
right?
beautiful temples. It is the windiest road to get up to Pai in the entire world.
Bike? Did you ride
No, I was on a van.
Good.
Literally on my way back down.
Yes.
Yacked all my lunch. It was so bad, and I was like in the back far seat of like a 12-person van.
In Pai?
Coming down from Pai back to Chiang Mai.
Because when we came, so we went to the elephant sanctuary and we rode a bus, or not a bus, like a van, like you said. Yeah. And when we came back down, it was the same. Where like, I don't usually get car sick, but I had to not talk to anybody. I had to not look outside. It's windy.
It's like 700 and either 40 or 26 turns. It's the windiest road in the world. Like, fact check me. I don't know the exact number.
In Pai?
The road from Chiang Mai to Pai.
The windiest road in the world.
Yeah,
we'll definitely
fact
check that out
me.
because that is.
I hope I'm right. I don't know, but like, it was the windiest road in the world.
I saw the lady boys in Chiang Mai.
Yes,
at the market,
and they're like $5 massage.
No, they're so crazy and so fabulous.
Yeah,
we actually had one of our previous guests. He got punched in the face by one of the lady boys there.
Oh my god!
I think that's a souvenir.
They honestly loved me. They were so sweet because I would always be like with my guy friend and they'd just like treat him so nice. And then they'd be like, "You're so pretty. Where are you from?"
You're so pretty.
Yeah. And I'm like, they're like, "Are you Asian?" And I'm like, "No, different type of brown."
So what are you?
I'm Mexican and Italian. So all the yummy food.
There you go.
Yeah.
Italian. I like it.
Yeah, Italian. I've never heard that one. I love that. I'm going to take it.
Cheers. Cheers to that. Okay, so we love Thailand. And then where is the final favorite?
So the final favorite was Portugal. Portugal is absolutely amazing. I went on a whim. So I met some guys here in San Diego and we met on a boat and then I hung out with them for like FIFA World Cup. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Portugal in 3 weeks." And they're just joking. I was like, "Oh, thanks for the invite." And they're like, "Come with us. Just book your flight. Like, we have accommodations." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was just like, "Yep, I'm there." I like text them the next day. I was like, "So I booked my flight. I'm coming with you guys." And they're like, hell yeah, they were the sweetest guys. Like, I just felt like I was like the house mom and they were just crazy boys, just doing their thing, living their life. But so much fun. We went to a music festival. So like, to thank them for paying for all the accommodation, I bought all the festival tickets for them.
Nice,
yeah. Babe. No, I mean, like, I always love to give back. Like, whatever you give, you get back.
Exactly.
And it was literally magical. I landed in Faro, which is in the southern part of Portugal, and then made my way up to Lisbon. And this is where I learned one very valuable lesson. Pack, like, less is more. I packed like a whole suitcase because I knew it was Europe. And I was like, I can't pack a backpack. This isn't Asia. I'm like, no, I need a whole suitcase. Took like 8 pairs of shoes. Okay, I'm being dramatic.
8?
6 pairs of shoes.
Okay.
6 pairs of shoes. Just too many. Like, I wore 3.
So that is one tip I would like to put out there is that every time, so like when I first started traveling, I would take a bunch of shoes. I say bring 1 pair of heels because guess what? 1 pair of heels, but even every time that the first time I traveled, I brought several. You don't wear them. You
don't need them.
You're walking so much and nobody cares if you're in heels. I bring 1 like just nice black pair of heels in case I ever feel like, oh, I meet someone, I want to go do something. Yeah. But at the same time, most of the time, they do not get worn.
No, exactly.
I wear comfortable sandals or I wear my Converse with some nice little insoles so my feet are not screaming. Yeah. But no, you do not need as many pairs of shoes
I figured out the best tip is just get a good set of like snakeskin or like black leather booties. Like, go to Steve Madden. These are what I'm wearing right now. They're comfy. They're like adorable, a clunky like heel. It's just so much easier. I can walk through.
You could dress anything up.
I can dress anything up. I can be in like a cute like little like deep V dress and then still wear boots and it's like, oh, she's like trendy.
Or if you're wearing jeans, you could wear those.
Exactly. If I'm in jeans, if I'm in shorts, if I'm in a skirt.
You need versatility because you are not gonna like. I have brought things that I have literally despised.
Never touched.
I've despised at the end of my trip because I had to carry them. Yeah, I did not wear them.
No, exactly.
So really make sure that you plan out your outfits. You plan out before you go because there's nothing worse than regretting the baggage that you brought. Nobody needs extra baggage. That's a lesson for packing and for relationships.
Like for life.
We don't need extra baggage. But so I know that like I've gone to so when I went to my last Europe trip, I didn't pay for any bags. Like I was like, oh cool. And then I get to the gate and I had to pay $100 because my bag was overweight.
And that's a whole nother flight ticket. Like I'm the queen of finding cheap flights.
Oh, that is my bread and butter. Yeah. I will sit there and just
like
Google
Skyscanner, Hopper, and you just like coordinate everything. Yeah, no.
I open a private window and do Google Flights, and then I will like
clear
compare
the
to Hopper and stuff, clear the cookies. But you can find the cheapest flights ever, even just on Google Flights. But like there are tricks, and so to me, paying $100 for a bag kills me.
No, 100%.
But if you do it if you do it beforehand, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to check this bag. I used to want to check a bag or not check a bag because I was like, I don't want to lose my luggage.
Having to wait for it, I'm such a princess. I'm like, I hate waiting for things. I'm like, just let me off the flight and like let me go through customs and let me live. I don't want to be here.
You want to bust out. You don't want to have to wait for your bag. And when I went to Greece with all my girlfriends, my bag was the last one out. Like, literally, the thing went around by itself for a while, and I was so scared that
my bag is gone. I'm going to have to borrow everything. My bag is gone.
I have no clothes. And imagine if you're by yourself. Luckily, I was with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But, so, to me, the perk of not checking a bag is just having everything with you.
Safety.
But at the same time, depends where you're going. Thailand, I did not check a bag. Bali, I went to Thailand and Bali, did not check a bag because you're wearing practically nothing, folks. It is so fucking hot. You don't even want your hair on your shoulders, let alone a shirt.
I literally traveled my backpack. No lie, it was an Osprey, like best Bentley of backpacks.
I did a Nike duffel.
Oh my God, no. I like the Osprey because you open it up like a suitcase. So it was about this big, this high for 7 months. Not even that big. Hold on. It was tiny. It was a tiny little bag.
Yep.
Me and my best friend, we had they looked like little beans. Hers was red, mine was brown or black. And it worked out because I have like black hair. She has red hair. So
do you use
cute.
packing cubes?
No. So okay.
That's my favorite.
I'm
favorite
ghetto.
tip,
I use
everybody, is packing cubes. Ziplocs.
I'm ghetto sometimes. I get lazy. I'm like, ugh.
Listen, I know your birthday passed, but Christmas is coming. I will get you some packing cubes.
I would love that.
Every year, like all of my girlfriends for the past year, for their birthdays, I've gotten them packing cubes. You can find really nice ones on Amazon for even like $20. And I'm a freak about my shoes. I'm kind of a clean freak. So the packing cube sets, I bought them. They come with a bunch of different packing cubes. So you roll, like, it's amazing how much more you can pack and you keep everything organized when you use packing cubes. But also they have shoe bags. Because I literally was so disgusted. The last trip I went on, I went to my girlfriend's house before we left, and she put her shoes on top of her clothes. And I said, oh my God. Like, I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, do you know you walk on the ground where people have thrown up and shit and pissed?
Oh my God, I'm the worst. I do that too. But granted, I put a sarong over my clothes because I have whites. So I put like a sarong over it.
Oh my God, I'm getting you packing cubes.
Oh, thank you.
Because and the cool thing is so the packing cubes I have for shoes, you can fit 3 pairs of shoes in there. I put a pair of heels and like a flip flop and a Converse. And then they're all, so they don't touch your clothes. You zip it up and then you can wash them.
Okay.
It's just so much better.
Yeah.
I just get grossed out about that. And especially
sandals, I hang them on the outside of my bag because I can just clip them into like the straps. But yeah, shoes, I put like a sarong over all my clothes and then put my shoes on top of the sarong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so once again,
I need to grow up and get packing cubes.
Here on Up to Date, we want to keep you up to date with travel tips. So travel tip for me is use packing cubes.
Yeah.
Because it will just help keep everything more organized and tight.
No,
but
100%.
Also cleaner. So like the things that are just for your shoes, that is like perfect to keep your shoes out of the way of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So okay, I had a travel tip. What's one of yours?
One of my travel tips, just a quick and simple one, is like if you're lost, if you're at an airport, no matter on the street, wherever, look up and read the signs. You'd be surprised how many times I'd look at my friend and be like, where are we? Where do we need to go? And then if we just looked up and we're like, oh, look, it says it right there. Okay, go. A second one, obviously, like less is more. My last one would be, or not last one, but another really.
Less is more for what?
Less is more for packing.
Okay.
100%. Because like carrying things, I get so lazy. I'm like, I don't want to carry this.
And at the end of the trip, I'm like, I didn't even wear you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I get rid of it. I'll leave it in a hostel, in a hotel. I'm just like, whoever finds this gets a little gift from me. You're welcome. Pay it forward.
That's nice.
And then my last one is listen to the locals. Like, listen to them. You might think you know more, but you do not.
So yeah, one of my favorite things to ask people is like, what's your travel tip that you learned the hard way? Because I have several that I've learned the hard way, but like that's how you learn a lesson sometimes.
Exactly.
So how did you learn that lesson the hard way?
Oh man. Okay. So I was in Thailand with my best friend, first trip that we ever took together. And we booked a resort at the end of our trip in Koh Phangan to so we can like relax, like decompress from our trip. And the resort was on the like top side of the island, but you can only get there by boat. So it was really inconvenient because like boats stop running at 5 and we still have like guys and friends that we want to hang out with at night. And if the boats stop at 5, then we're just stuck, the two of us.
5 is literally like...
That's nap time.
That's nap
That's
time.
nap time.
For baby booze.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
not
No,
for us,
that's nap time. So we go and then it says, or like we called, what was it? A Grab. Have you ever used Grab? Like the Uber app for Asia?
In Asia, it's like Grab Taxi is what it is. Yeah, no, we didn't use it. I planned all of our
like
our
private cars, like a driver.
Because it's so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. No, we just used Grab because we never knew where we were going to end up.
Yeah.
So we tried to call a Grab and they're like, no, we can't drive to that part of the island. Grabbed it, like, hollered at a tuk-tuk and we're like, can you take us here? And they're like, no.
See, I'm not scared of tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuks
no, like in a tuk-tuk. In a tuk-tuk.
In a tuk-tuk.
In a tuk-tuk. Yeah, no, tuk-tuks are the best. But yeah, they're like, no, we can't drive there. I'm like, what do you mean? So I looked on Google Satellite and I saw that there was a road. And I Googled it. I was like, how to get to Bottle Beach by car. And there was a video on YouTube of like this traveler saying like, get an all-wheel drive. You can drive down this mountain. And I looked at my best friend. I was like, we're renting a Jeep right now. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, we're going to do it. No, like never take a no. Just do what you want. Like we are powerful. We can do this. Like never take a no. We are powerful. So we go and rent this huge truck. Like it's just two girls. Like
a truck.
A truck. Like a huge, massive truck.
Was it automatic?
It was automatic.
Thank God.
So I asked them, I was like, I need an automatic truck. And they're like, why do you need this? Me and my friend look at each other. I was like, we have friends. Like, it's just the two of us.
Why?
Yeah, they're like, why? Like, and I'm like, we have friends. Don't worry about it. Because, I mean, like, we're two girls. Like, why do we need a whole ass, like, truck? So we got the truck. And then we start driving down the mountain. Easy breezy. It was definitely, like, off-roading. Like, a couple, like...
little treacherous.
Yeah, a little treacherous. It's daylight. Like... We made it down and we're like, no one can ever tell us no. We're just like the world is our oyster. Like, this is ours. We get to create whatever we want. We're like hyped.
This is our reality.
This is our reality. Yeah. Like, we're like Bob Ross in our own lives, you know? Yeah. Paint it up. And we go and take a nap because it's 5 p.m. So we go and take a nap, got dinner, and then we wake up at 9 to like get ready, left the resort that we were staying at. And we start going up and we didn't realize that it was raining while we were taking a nap. And so the road is now muddy. It's dark. There's no lights. We're in the jungle at this point. So we start going up and then I get stuck and I'm just going zzz, like my wheels are just turning out.
There's nothing worse than that.
No.
Oh my God.
And like, thank goodness. Yeah.
Panic ensues. Yeah.
It was just like, I was shaking. I was like, I don't know what to do. I've like off-roaded before, so I knew to keep it in low gear. Anyways, so me and my best friend look at each other, and this is when I knew she was my best travel partner in the world. We didn't freak out on each other. We get out of the car. She starts like picking up these huge rocks to put behind the wheels. We are literally an inch off like the sand and almost off like a drop. Like our truck is hanging off. It's horrifying. I'm digging the front of the wheels, and keep in mind, we're in flip-flops, bralettes, and shorts, like, ready to just go and fucking get it, and, like,
you got it all right.
Yeah, no, and, like, we just look at each other, and I was like, you're gonna have to push me. You're gonna have to push me out. And she's like, no, absolutely not. What do you mean? I'm gonna, like, what if it goes back and I fall into this ravine? I'm like, you're right. You're not pushing me. You're right. Like, didn't argue, didn't fight with each other. Yeah, and then out of the grace of the universe, I don't know, I see these headlights coming at us. And it was the only off-wheeling truck that would take people in and out, which we did not get notice of. And we waved them down. And in my head, I'm like, what if this is a local? What if it's not safe? I was like, Alana, stay back. I was like, stay back. Like, I'm going to go up to this truck. And she's like, what do you mean stay back? I'm like, I don't know, like, what if I get kidnapped? I'm like, just stay back. So I wave it down, and then this local guy who speaks no English, just a Thai little old man.
Kapkunka.
Yeah, Kapkunka. I was like, we're stuck, and he can't get past us because we're in this tiny, like, road. So, like, if he doesn't move our truck, there's no way they're getting out. And he, like, jumped out of his truck, gets into our car, and he does the, like, the look at me, I'm the captain now, point to my steering. So the car I was driving wasn't automatic, but it used to be a manual. So he puts the manual park in low gear and my car gets right out.
Wow.
And I was like, this said it was an automatic, not a manual. What do you mean? So we got out, thank goodness, but definitely lesson learned. Like, it was a mile in and a mile out in pure darkness to either an abandoned road or like a resort. So,
thank God. Like that is literally the grace of God, the universe, like helping you out, because can you imagine, like, you had said you were in fight or flight mode, right?
Yeah,
like,
fight or flight, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank God. So did you end up going getting to your destination?
Yeah, we did. So we get out there and I'm just like, so I'm the one driving. So I'm just shaky. We get up to like this cute bar, like mountaintop. You can see the ocean twinkling in the distance, like beautiful aesthetic, like house music playing. And I'm just silent. And I'm never silent. I'm such a talker. And my friend is just like,
Girl.
do you need a drink? Do you like, are you
Always.
okay? Yeah, exactly. Always. And I was like, no, I just kind of, wow. Like, I just need to decompress. I was so scared. You know, they had my friend's passport as a deposit. So I was like, what if this truck falls into this ravine, this like drop? Like, you're stuck here. I can't leave you. Then we're both stuck here. You know, it was just so many things going through my head.
You had an angel, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm very happy that we got out, but never again will I not listen to a local. I'm just like, no, I'm just going to sit down and be like a little bit more humble.
Exactly. So I talked about this on one of the episodes, but you have to eat a slice of humble pie now and again.
100%, yeah.
You know, you might think that you know all the answers and you have everything figured out, but life will hand you a slice of humble pie to eat whether you want it or not. And that sounds like one of them. That's a great tip. You know, like nothing in life comes for free, especially like lessons.
Yeah.
And so so I love that. What is something else? So I know you had said a couple other things when we talked about this before, like travel tips that you were like, this sucked.
Yeah. I think like another thing that sucked was probably like visas. Just make sure you like Google the country that you're going to, the visas. Thank goodness. So 3 days before we went to Vietnam, we didn't know that you need a visa on a right. Like you need to have a visa before you land. If not, you're not allowed to like go into the country. They can detain you and make you buy a whole nother flight out. Thankfully, our friend let us know that we met at a hostel. Like not even a friend, it was just some random person. They're like, you need to get a visa. You can't go in.
And how do you get a visa?
There's a link that you can just pay $25 for, and then they usually send it back in 24 hours. But it has to be a business day. So we got very, very lucky again. Like a lot of things, just like a lot of synchronicity that just helped me get through. Yeah, you know, at least like that's why I always like preach and say like be a good person, always be kind, never, you know, put out bad energy.
Karma is real.
Karma is so real, and I've been lucky enough to have the good side of karma. But obviously there's been like a couple of times where there's just the bad side. Also protect your belongings. I was on the back of a scooter like checking the map, directing my friend, because obviously I don't drive my own scooter. I'm always on the back.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah, and someone tried to grab my phone out of my hand, and I like screamed, elbowed up, because like I have a pop socket on my phone.
Thank God.
Yeah, and my friend just sped up perfectly where they couldn't grab it, but just feeling that like energy on me.
While you were driving?
While we were driving.
Wow,
yeah.
Stay woke.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's just like be careful. Be careful when you have your things. Don't hold things out of like any vehicle. Just honestly be aware of your surroundings, you know, even if you're just obviously having fun and in the moment, just keep that little eye open, because you just never know what's around the corner.
So one thing I saw that you had written was that you said get travel insurance. And so I used to be a person who didn't get travel insurance. And then this last trip I went on, I was so glad I did. Because so travel insurance is like $80. I love to use World Nomads.
Okay, nice.
And so I'd love to hear what you use as well. But one of my flights got like basically canceled, and they ended up like giving us like a $300 kind of like compensation for it. But I thought that I lost my favorite necklace, which is like a $500 necklace. My dad got it for me. I even had the receipt for it. And I thought I lost it, but I ended up putting it in my Gucci belt bag, which I found like when I got home. Yeah. But the cool thing was that I was like, oh my God, like I was prepared to submit a claim and be like, here's the receipt for this. I lost this, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have to do it. But honestly, like, imagine if something like that happened. Like, imagine if you had something really important to you and you took it with you and then you didn't come back with it and you didn't have travel insurance. You are shit out of luck.
Well, like, even, I mean, I think the best example, thankfully, this has never happened to me, but I mean, I work on the go. So, like, I have my computer, I have all my tech, I have my camera, like, I have everything I need in my bag. I have locks on my backpack, but that's honestly like if you're in a hostel and your backpack's in your room and it has locks on it, that's only like, it's not that safe. Someone can come in with a knife and like knife open your backpack. If they really want it, they can get it. But yeah, no, I couldn't imagine getting my things stolen like that, or just anything going missing, like AirPods, a charger. Like you leave those just on your bed usually for the most of, like, you know, you're going to the shower and then you come back and it's gone. It's missing. Like, I would never want to have that risk. Even flights, like, I had to come back, unfortunately, due to Corona. And one of my flights got canceled back home because I was just going to go and, like, live a little happy life in Hawaii, and that flight got canceled, and I was like, nope, never mind, you got to go back to San Diego, which is obviously not a bad place to be.
Right, we were very blessed.
Yeah,
yes.
I luckily got that all refunded because of insurance, which is nice.
Yeah, if you don't have travel insurance, you are shut out of luck. So $80 might seem like, oh, this isn't worth it, but it will be.
Yeah, 80 to like 200 to 500, like whatever, or a computer, 1,000, then you're just out.
Right. And so actually, yeah, unless you work on your computer, another tip I have is do not bring your computer.
Yeah, exactly.
I brought my computer on my last trip, and it just honestly weighed me down.
Yeah.
And I didn't use it. Like,
yeah.
Enjoy your trip, do your editing and your posting when you come back. Like, different for your story and stuff like that. But yeah, do not bring your computer unless that is your career. Like that
when I went to Portugal, I was only there for 3.5 weeks, and it just wasn't necessary.
And it gave me extra anxiety. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm leaving my computer here.
Yeah, you're like, do you have lockers? Do you have like good room keys? If you have like your own like private place or like a villa, but you still just lock everything up. The only reason I needed to take it, like I said, I was gone for like 7 months, so I needed to have work. I couldn't just like
if you're gone for that long, of course, and then you plan for it. But for a couple weeks, you're not gonna need it unless that's your job and that's what you're there for. Don't bring it.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's not needed. You're not gonna be on your computer going on Facebook to check on your aunts and or what do you call them, aunts and uncles? Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, so a question I have for you is, and we're gonna kind of transition from our travels to, are you single?
I am single, super single. Single as a Pringle.
Yes, love it. Single as a Pringle and ready to mingle.
Yes.
So, I would love to hear about some of your travel love stories because I know I have some too, and you and I talked a little bit earlier, and I think that you have some amazing things to share. So let's hear about so I think you said you had one in Portugal.
Yeah, so in Portugal, I went to this music festival, and I met these two girls, like, on a boat randomly, and they're like, oh, we're going to this music festival. I'm like, no way. Like, me and my friends have tickets, too, and we're like, let's just all meet up. I was traveling with 4 guys, and then just me, and then I was like, I need girlfriends. Like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm not, like, a guy's girl.
I want to hang out with girls, and if guys want to come along, yeah, but no, totally.
Exactly.
Like, let's hang out with our girls.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, got to the festival right away, met up with these girls, and then we're like, we want boys. I was like, let's go on the hunt, ladies. Like, we're ready. It's like daylight. We look cute still. And then we met these guys, like these big group of British guys. Beautiful. Like,
I always meet British guys.
I know, they're beautiful. Like, yeah, they call us birds, which I know is like a derogatory term.
Is it?
But I think it's so cute. I'm like, yes, I am a bird. Like, fly away, baby. Like,
majestic as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we met these guys. The guy that I met, he's actually a twin, and he was like a British model, like just a gorgeous, gorgeous man. I ended up leaving my friends that I was with. I was like, boys, I'm not coming back. I'll let you know when I'll meet up with you, like up the coast or whatever. And they're like, what do you mean you're not coming back? We have your bag. Like, we have everything. I was like, well, I have a backpack with like a change of clothes just in case this happens. I checked it into like a locker at the festival, and I took off with this boy and like for 2 nights, and we were ending up, he was going back down south and I was going back up north to catch my flight back home. Fell in love. It was so beautiful. Just like had a lazy day all day at like the hotel. Like, there was a sheep in the yard. Just like, wow, look, there's a sheep. Like, went to the beach and like got to see the beautiful cliffs of Portugal and like the nice warm sun. But then come months later, like, you know, obviously split ways when I had to go up north. He went south.
How long did you guys hang out?
2 nights, so like 3 days total, because the festival day, the lazy day, and then the next day we both had a train, so we were like at the train station, like super dramatic, like bye. I'm like it's not a bye, it's a see you later. And 3 months later, I planned a trip for Thailand, and he's texting me, and he was like, come to Bali, come to Bali. I'm like, no, I'm like, I already planned Thailand. I was like, come to Thailand. He was like, okay, cool, I'll see you there.
Like, this is my world, you're living in it.
Exactly, yeah. So then the second night that I landed in Bangkok, he was like, okay, I'm here. And I'm like, what?
Did you meet up?
Yeah, of course, 100%. I was like, told my best friend, I was like, he's here. And like, I didn't have a wax yet. And she's like, Sabrina, we're getting you a wax right now. She's like, that's our mission. That's all we're focused on. I'm like, thank you, best friend. I love you.
That's what they're there for.
Saw him like at the bar, and I was like, oh my God, you're here. Like, I can't believe it. So, I mean, like, a travel lover that comes and meets you in another country, that's a real one. That's just like,
That is such
thank
a
you for the
real one.
commitment. Yeah. So then we ended up hanging out there in Bangkok for 2 nights. And then we took off back down to the islands, but he went to another island. And then at the end of our trip, we rekindled again. So it was just like a intermittent, like, I'll see you here, I'll see you there. Like, you know, it's like very
That's
easy and
so
flowy.
sweet. That's so fun.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very beautiful. It was really fun. But the first night that we landed in Bangkok, we landed at like, got to our hostel at 11 p.m. At like 11:30, this big group of British boys just bombard our room. Like,
I can't help it. The accents just get me fired up.
I love the accents.
I love British boys.
I love the accents. British and Aussie accents are like my like bread and butter. I'm like, oh, just talk to me, baby. Yeah.
Fucking butter me up.
Butter me up. Yeah. But yeah, these British boys just like bombarded us. And then first night there, the first big trip that we take together, and we're like, we'll take you two. Like, just pick two out of the group. And ended up just cuddling us in like our weird little twin bunk beds. Like, no funny business, because I'm like, my best friend's in the room. Don't be weird.
That's weird. Don't be weird.
Yeah, don't be weird.
Don't fuck your friends, or don't fuck people when your friends are in the room.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm like, dude, I live with her. I can't see her the same.
She's all, I ain't here for that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I just can't. I'm like, if you're in a different room and I hear some like,
baby, turn it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm gonna put music on. It's fine.
But not in the same room.
Not in the same room. No, absolutely not. But the guy that I was cuddling with, we ended up not trying to, but the group of guys, the British boys, we ended up at the next 3 locations at the same time. And I was like, are you guys following us? Do you guys have like a GPS on us? I don't get it. And they're like, no, we're just like, you know, backpacking through. And if you go to Thailand, you're going to notice that like a lot of the time you're going to be on the same path as a lot of travelers there.
Oh yeah, I have a story about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I come to find out later, like after our third destination, we're in Koh Phi Phi Island, and I have like all these random British girls like watching my story, and like I don't really check who watches my story.
But you notice if it's somebody out of the ordinary. I do too. I'll do a quick scan and I'll be like, oh,
who is this? And I'm like, if it looks like a good profile picture, and it was multiple like profiles that I've never seen in my life.
Like, hello.
Yeah, like, hello, darling.
Hello,
like,
governor.
Yeah. And I like clicked on it. I'm like, okay, this is like same. They had like followed the same guy, and I'm like, okay. Then I get a message, and they're like, so do you know like so and so? I won't say his name. And I was like, what? And
who's asking, bitch?
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, he has a girlfriend, and like we want to know if like we've seen your story.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, and they're like, we've seen your stories. We just want to see if, like, you know, like, he has a girlfriend. Like, have you hooked up with him? And I'm like, this British girl is in my DMs. I'm like, he has a girlfriend? I'm like, so I go to him.
He has a bird?
He has a bird back home.
The bird has flown the coop. The bird has flown the coop.
How dare he? How dare he bamboozle me into thinking he's a single Pringle?
I love the word bamboozle, but I don't love a bamboozle.
I don't love a bamboozler.
We don't want to get... Yeah, we're not bamboozlers. I mean, we are bamboozlers.
I'm a bamboozler.
I'm a bamboozler, but we
don't bamboozle me.
We don't want to be bamboozled.
Yeah, so I go to him and I was like, so do you have a girlfriend? I'm like, do you have a bird back home? And he was like...
He's all...
Yeah. And he was... I don't know what he said. It was some British... nonsense, but I'm like, you have a freaking bird back home. What do you mean? Like, you've been in my bed for the last, like, intermittently over the last week 3 times. I'm so confused. And he was like, yeah, like, I don't know, it's complicated. And I look on her Instagram and she has a kid. It's not his, thank goodness.
Oh, boy.
It was just a whole mess. And, like, so I learned a very valuable lesson when you meet a boy traveling. Do you have a bird back home? Like, just ask them straight off the bat, because, like, you never know.
I think that's, like, good practice anywhere, but the thing that sucks is, like, you would hope that you wouldn't have to ask that people would not entertain you if they already are entertaining something else. Yeah. But we also know that that's not always the case. So, yes, here's a tip. Ask.
Yeah, 100%. And also, it's, like, this group of guys that we met, they were traveling for, I think, like, 3 months, like, a boys' trip, and... they had girlfriends back home. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that'll work. Let me just go on a 3-month trip with my boyfriend back home and like, travelers are the most horniest people I've ever met in my entire life.
Because it's all flighty. It's like, you know, like here today,
there's no
gone
commitment.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have the same kind of mentality, and I mean, like, I've recently only solo traveled when I've been single.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you meet different people, and like
And you're like, you're so fun.
life presents you with all these different perfect situations.
Yeah.
So it's not okay to do that if you have somebody.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But at the same
shouldn't.
time, like, if you don't, like, that's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
that's what traveling is about. It's like meeting people and having beautiful fleeting moments.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like how you said it, like beautifully fleeting, it's always just like
it
bittersweet.
It hurts.
Yeah.
So I've mentioned this a couple times, but like my most recent trip, I used Hinge when I was in Scotland. Scotland was one of my favorite places. I would actually live there. But so I talked to a bunch of delicious, amazing dudes on Hinge when I was in Scotland, but I had my pick of the litter, right? And I had this one guy that was like, he goes, what they say is true. We don't wear underwear under our kilts. What? I was like cracking up. I'm like, so you're just like raw donging it? Like you're just like out there?
They're just...
But so he was funny, but I was like, no. And then this other guy was like so cute. And one of his answers kind of like showed me that he was kind of a kindred spirit. And it said, what are you looking for? And he said, I want somebody to travel the world with and absolutely enjoy life.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God. And he was from South Africa. Super tall, cute, like white boy. Loved him. But anyway, so we ended up meeting up and we spent several days together and it was so amazing. And I wouldn't have been able to like do that if I didn't kind of put myself out there.
Yeah.
And go on the dating app. I know that I've also met people like organically so when I went to Rome, I met the bartender at the hostel I was staying at.
Yeah.
Kind of organically, but one of my friends had stayed there the week before. And so weird, he messaged me. He's like, hey, the bartender there, his name's Alex. He's like, say what's up to him. Tell him you're my friend. And I walked up and I was like, are you Alex? He's like, who wants to know? And I was like, me. And like the whole night I was like, free drinks, free fun. You know what I mean? Like obviously. But there's so much fun you can have, but you just have to be open to it. But it is sad when you leave because like, there's a quote that's like, you know, everywhere you travel, it's like, I'd love to stay and love you, but I have to go.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because like, you think about the like other lives, like the parallel universes you could have lived in.
Yeah. Like what if you just took off with them?
Well, what if you stayed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had met my Scotland boy and I went home and because of Corona, I went back to London. We talked the whole time. I went back home because of Corona. And we've talked like here and there, and I've always been like, what if, you know, like, but that's why it's so fun because I also have always felt like I'm meant for somebody maybe who's from a different country.
Oh, 100%. I want someone with an accent.
I love accents.
I want someone with an accent.
People think that
I'm manifesting that right now.
Girl, we manifest it all. But like, I think the accents, like people think we have an accent too.
Exactly. And they're like, oh, your California accent, like your American accent isn't that annoying. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'm like, I don't get it.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry we enunciate.
I know. I was just like, I might be loud, but like, leave me alone. Let me live.
I think we're just like confident and like secure, so it comes like off as loud.
We definitely, I do have to say, like as like an American, I mean I'm like saying quotes, but like as an American, people know. They're like, you guys are loud, you guys don't care. It's just like you present yourself and you're just like, bam, I'm here, you know?
Here I am, what are your other two
yeah,
wishes?
Exactly.
Yes. So okay, so love that. But yeah, no, that's been a sad thing for me too, but it's like, but it kind of teaches you that that's what life is about. It's like letting go.
100%. And like if it's meant to be, it'll always come back. And I mean, like I've had a couple of lovers that I'm just like have such a great, beautiful connection that I cry when we say goodbye. So like at one point I was just like, I don't want to say goodbye. I'm just gonna leave and then like flake on our last date and be like, I don't want to say goodbye to you. I'm sorry. It's just too much for me at this point. And I've done that once where I just like, I tried to do this only once where I was like, I don't want to say bye, but we're not hanging out today. I like hate goodbyes. I just want to leave it happy. And then I'm on my freaking scooter and I see him and I'm like, okay, cool. So like now we have to do an awkward goodbye. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I like flaked, but like, I just don't want to do this. Like, you're beautiful. Yeah.
I understand, but I also am a big person of that, like you said earlier, like it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So I think that every person that you connect with deserves the just the respect of a last thing, or maybe a last, like, you know, it's like, hey, we don't know what this is gonna be. I had so much fun with you. I respect you and enjoyed you so much because it's so like this is such a wide world, you know, like people, like some of my girlfriends who aren't with people right now, they're like, I'm never gonna find someone. I'm like, this is a universe. This is the whole fucking planet.
There's
Like, you have
7
no
billion
idea.
of us.
There's 7 billion. You have no idea who you could meet if you just opened up your horizons and said, hey, I'm going to do this for me, you know, like, but I think that you need to focus on yourself before you find someone else to focus on.
Yeah.
And I know for me that, like, I'm going to find my person by doing what I love, which is traveling and opening myself up to life. And then I know the person that's meant for me is going to be ready to open themselves up to me.
No, 100%. And I think the biggest thing is also, like, when you constantly say, like, oh, I'm all, like, forever single or whatever, like, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more
you
energy
create your reality.
Exactly. And it's just, like, whatever, like, energy you put out into the world, you're only going to receive it. So if you think, like, hey, I'm always going to be single, like, then that's literally what you're going to be. But if you're just, like, my world is, like, abundant and just beautiful and I, like, attract, like, love and fun and just, like, beautiful experiences, that's all you're going to attract.
I attract people for my highest good.
Yes.
Every single day, everything that happens is supposed to happen. Every person that comes into my life is here to make it better and more fun and free and fabulous.
Oh, I love that.
I want to, like, record affirmations because, like, that is what I think about every day. And, like, I put, what you put out is what you get back.
Yeah.
Put out goodness, put out expectation.
Yeah.
Of joy.
100%. I'm the same exact way. Like, every single day I wake up and I'm like, this is the best day ever. Like, check my Instagram stories. It's always, like, I'll just put the little, like, GIF, like, best day ever. Like, no matter what, it's always best day ever.
Life is good because you're grateful.
Yeah, 100%.
That is, like, 100% what I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love that. So we've had our little flings, which is so much fun. So that was Portugal guy. And then, so what would you say are some, like, travel dating tips that you have for people?
Travel dating tips. I'm trying to think. I mean, for girls, obviously, just, like, ask, like, the guy, like, hey, do you have a girlfriend?
Also, I'd say be, like, if something feels off, excuse me, if something feels off, it is.
Yeah.
So make sure that you feel safe, like.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, since I've traveled by myself, I've never felt, nervous, but also, so I had met this guy in Budapest. It was such a sweet meeting. I was walking up to go to, have you been to Budapest?
I haven't been to Budapest.
You have to go. It's like, besides.
I want to go to a festival in Budapest.
Let's go.
Okay.
I'm serious because
2021, once Corona's over.
Baby. I'm so ready. So I went by myself to Budapest and I, like, woke up and I, like, walked across the chain bridge, and this British guy, once again, I don't know why British guys love me and I love them too, but walked up to me and he was like, oh, he said, where are you going? And I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to here, like, the Fisherman's Bastion. And he's like, you're American? And I'm like, yeah. And so I sit down and then he's like, well, if you want to, you know, like, you talk to me about something. He came back 5 minutes later and gave me, like, a brochure kind of thing. I was like, okay. So I walk up the hill and all of a sudden I hear him running up the hill and he's like, sorry to bother you, but I would love to take you out later. And so I went about my day, like, did my thing. I had a couple drinks later and I was like, you know what? And so I WhatsApped him. That is how you connect with foreign people. And it ended up being the best night ever. Like, he took me out. We smoked a spliff out in front of the, I love, what's so funny is smoking other countries' weed. Because
it doesn't compare to California.
There is no weed like Cali weed. I will say that. Like, I've smoked weed in Greece. This one guy I like was seeing in Greece. He also, like, rolled us a spliff, and it was, like, the most dirtiest
love spliff,
dirt.
Though. Like,
I know, but
I'm so gross. I love a good spliff.
I don't smoke cigarettes, but, like, if I'm traveling, I'll smoke a spliff because all over Europe they just like to smoke cigarettes and, like, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he rolled us a spliff in front of this merry-go-round. What's it called? What is that called?
What, the...
Not a merry-go-round.
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. So there was a Ferris wheel in Budapest. And so we smoked that, and then we sat down, and we started talking, and he was like, do you want to... Like, he had a house in Budapest. He was, like, a little bit older. And I literally sent a picture. I sent his fucking Instagram, his address to my mother, to my friends. Because my mom... Like, I'm old enough. My mom doesn't care, but, like, I want 100%. Her to know. And so it's like, because my friends are like, oh, weren't you scared? And I'm like, no, because guess what? Like, if you cover your bases, so once again, if it feels off, it is. It didn't feel off, but also don't be so naive that you aren't sharing the information of where you're going.
100%.
But you can have the most beautiful experiences if you open your heart to it. And, like, like, it was so much fun.
Experiences out of this world, like, things that are, like, not, like, not, you're, like, end up at this mansion and you're like, where am I?
How did this happen is because I opened myself up to life and I believed I deserved fun and
Yeah.
fabulousness and safety.
Yeah, 100%.
I have never.
How many friends do you share your location with? I share them with everyone. I'm like, here, take my location.
Usually, like, I try not to let everybody know what's going on, but, like, for sure my mom, because my mom will never, she'll be like, yeah, baby, tell me where you're going.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. But, like, she cares, but she doesn't care, you know? And then, like, my one best friend, maybe a couple others, but there's one that I travel with a lot who I went to Thailand and Bali with. And we've actually traveled all over Europe. And when we were in Europe, we each went with, like, different guys, and the rest of our friends were, like, mad about it. And we're like, we're adults. You know where we're at. Like, chill.
So I think that's, okay, going back to the tip thing, I think that's probably another great tip that just came to the top of my head. If you're traveling with friends, like, don't try to hold each other back. Like, this isn't, like, our trip. This is our own trip, and then we're going to conjoin.
I'm going to spend the majority of the time with you because, like, I love you guys more than anything. But also,
if I want to do something and you don't want to do it, please, like, respect that and let me do what I want to do.
Please express that you care, but, like, as long as I share with you what's happening, you're going to have my location, I'm going to share that.
Exactly.
This is the one life I have, and
exactly. And I never want to be somewhere that I'm like, I didn't really want to be here. I didn't want to spend the money to do this right now. And that's how me and my best friend that, like, I've done.
You have to have that understanding.
Months and months of traveling with. Yeah. Like, I was like, whatever you don't want to do and I want to do it, I'm going to go do it. And, like, vice versa. And if we want to do it together, we'll do it together. But I will never have any resentment or anger towards you if we don't want to do it together. And I think that's just, like, very powerful for both of us to just, like, be together and be, like, obviously codependent, but then also very independent, you know?
So before I went on my first solo trip, I don't know if I would have felt that way because I probably would have felt scared. But once I broke off and did my own thing, I would know that if my friend wanted to go do something, I would be worried about her because I love her, but I'd say, hey, as long as you tell me where you're going, blah, 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 I can figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, it's all about communication. That's with any relationship, not just friendships, but with any relationship. Yeah. But okay, so wrapping it up, I want to ask you, like, what are some dating tips? Doesn't matter if you're traveling or here, abroad, whatever. Dating tips, I'd want to hear one for girls, one for boys. So we already had the ask somebody if they have a person thing, which is great. But, like, dating tips, like,
for girls, I think, like, the most powerful thing that I've realized is, like, also don't be self-conscious. It's like, I feel like girls have that tendency to be like, oh, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Like, no matter where you are in the world, you're always constantly comparing yourself. But if you just, like, show up in the room and just be, like, unapologetically yourself, just, like, be raw and real. Like, obviously there's, like, a time and place to be, like, crazy and, like, let your real, like, freak flag fly. But it's just, like, yeah, like, get it, you know? But honestly, just, like, be 100% true to yourself and, like, know what your values are and who you are as a person. And, like, you'll just give it. What you're looking for.
If you focus on that, that's what you'll get. But if you focus on what you don't want, you're going to get that too.
Exactly. Yeah, no. And it's just, like, if you want a guy that's, like, funny and loves music and loves dancing and just, like, oh, I love boys like this and, like, don't even
then go have fun and listen to music and find boys that like to dance.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, for guys, I think the biggest thing is, like, don't be afraid to open up. Like, it's not that it's, like, commitment or anything. It's just, like, open your heart up because, like, we're all humans. And I feel like boys sometimes have that tendency to be a little bit more closed off. But it's, like, when you open up and you're both true about, like, what your intentions are, like, hey, we're not looking for anything, but you're opening up. At that point, you make a real friend. Even if it's sexual, like, at the end of the day, you just made a great connection that, like, I've have, like, guys that I've hooked up with and, like, we're still friends to this day. And it's magical. I'm like, dude, like, it's not weird that, like, you know, we had sex. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
It's not, you know, it's like what you're looking for in your life. And, like, same thing. Like, I've traveled and met people that I've hooked up with, and then we are still friends on Instagram or even Facebook to this day, and they'll comment and be like, oh, like, so glad to see you're doing good.
Yeah.
I want to see you doing good, whether or not you are going to be my person. It doesn't have to always be so serious. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Life, travel teaches you that life is so much fun and there is so much adventure to be had. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with, like, finding your person. Like, that's the goal, right? Like, I know both of you and I, we both deep down want to find our person and, you know, eventually, but also at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun.
I'm having so much fun.
I'm having a lot of fun doing what I want to do, seeing the things I want to see.
Yeah.
And not having anybody else say,
yay
here
or
or
nay.
There about it.
Yeah.
Yay or nay.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, yay.
Yeah, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what we're here to say. But yeah, so I honestly, like, I would love us to travel together.
Oh my God, I think they would be magical. I feel like it would be, like, 2 fireworks just going.
So yeah, we just had 4th of July. So baby, we're a firework. Where is the next place you'd like to go?
So I was supposed to be in South America right now. I came back in March and I was like, okay, I'll like hang out for a second, like let quarantine COVID pass by. It'll be only like a month. I was taking it like so lightly. And then it was like, no, you're like staying here to like go to your room and think about what you did in the last couple months. But yeah, I really want to go to South America or Africa. I mean, like, the world is my oyster, and I'm going to see every bit of it, you know?
Exactly. I really want to go to my next thing. So you talked about Portugal. I am Portuguese, so that is, like, one of my, like, main things I want to go see. So I'd love to do Portugal and Morocco.
Okay, yes.
So if you'd be down to go back to Portugal, let's do a little...
always down.
Little Portugal, Morocco deliciousness. But so we are going to wrap it up here. Sabrina and I are going to finish these drinks, and we're going to talk about our next destination that we are going to grace with our presence. But once again, thank you guys so much for joining us.
I finished my drink.
Stay tuned to stay up to date.